move order that I love to play as black, which was c5. A lot of my opponents like playing the move d5 here. And I went into, I had a lot of tussles with a lot of great players from a very unusual middle game, where I gave up 2 bishops. I would play like this.
So you were going to say I gave up 2 pawns?
No. I would give up 2 bishops like this. And it was like a very confused position. Because if you stop, just for a moment, this was the tabia. This was actually the starting position, of which I had many tournament games. White has nothing. White has no development. Everything is on its original square. Meanwhile, black has developed a knight, a rook, a king, and a pawn, and yet white is considered by the computer to be slightly better. And
they develop everything very quickly and with tempi.
Exactly. And this is how so many of my games continued like this. And we got this very unusual imbalance of a queen-side majority versus a king-side majority, 2 knights versus 2 bishops. But I do have a very nice central outpost, either on the d4 square, or if my opponent plays e2, e3 on the d3 square. It's rare for me to see this popping up these days because so many players prefer the old move order of knight f6
or e6
or e6 and after c5, well,
I could also just play e3 and transpose to just classical lines.
Exactly, e2, e3. Although I must say, in these classical lines, you do see people like Wesley So, like Gukesh for that matter, handling black pieces very, very well and making comfy draws.
There is an additional,
Please.
I don't know if this is
This is the key moment where we're expecting knight takes d1.
Or
I've
knight
got
takes
2
d1,
rooks and a knight for the queen, but it's actually a perpetual.
Same with knight
d1.
d3.
doesn't really change anything.
Check.
Honestly, on 6 minutes, do you want to calculate king c2, rook f2, king c3?
Just right when.
If knight d3, If 93 check here instead of 91. Because he hasn't played 91, so he's clearly choosing between those two.
I had perpetual check, and I didn't see white.
We found a way to get out of perpetual.
I did,
by
but
losing.
by losing.
Well,
check. And
even there you have some drawing chances, I guess. King
Even
H7,
that,
X7
yeah.
too, yeah, but there's no call for
Yes.
black to suddenly switch back to fighting for a draw instead of just making it on the spot.
Yeah, and here it was that very nice KG, Queen E6 check as well. Very important.
Nice sharp game this was, and
It turned out.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but they almost never play boring games, though. They do seem to bring it out of each other. And
Well,
they keep on.
Taking that pawn on D5 was so.
I guess he disliked.
Challenging,
He disliked
provoking.
his position so much that he thought I must absolutely change the course of the game immediately because I am in trouble.
Right.
Ended up sort of working out, but yeah, not without some swings.
Precisely.
And I want to hear Gukesh's thoughts after the game. I'm sure he'll be disappointed that he didn't manage to convert the advantage he had.
Right.
And
But
wondered
it-
if he was conflicted during the game to play bishop h7.
Or Queen E7,
Right.
or you play for the initiative instead of grabbing the material.
Because he certainly saw Queen E7. There's no chance he didn't see
Of
it.
course.
I'm pretty sure he knew it was strong. He just couldn't really understand how strong.
Yeah.
Because he is.
But that's the point. You know,
Not
when,
wishing.
when your evaluation is not an engine and you say, I have an advantage by being a head material, and I have an advantage by having the initiative and the dynamic, it's easier to fall back on the material.
Especially on low time. Yeah.
Especially.
on low time.
And we do
It
see
looks
King
like this
E6
is Prague has
reconciled.
realized that King G8 doesn't really avoid the perpetual, so he's taking the fastest one,
Yeah.
so that they can claim as early as possible
As early.
without really needing to do much else.
Yes, starting the tournament with a very sharp game.
This was a
by
banger,
players.
despite all the mistakes. This was really a
They're looking around for the arbiter. Where's an arbiter?
Gukesh doing it properly,
I
writing
would-
down the move on the score sheet
I'm
and
allowed to
pointing
play.
to the arbiter. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it will be allowed.
Nice. Thank you, gentlemen. A good fight, I must say. I enjoyed watching that game. Just checking in on my pick for the victory, Fabi. When we left it, he was actually